know, Agentforce is quite popular nowadays. So we're going to talk about um, all things Agentforce today. Um, I will go with the presenter's view. Oh, sorry. Okay,
Your screen is visible, Krishna. Thank you.
perfect. Sounds good. All right, as we mentioned, we are going to talk about Agentforce and everything related to it. Um, And so, as you all know, that AI wave started quite a long time ago, but we became a fan of AI since ChatGPT came into our lives. I guess this is with everyone. What do you all think? Since when you started using AI, can you all put this in the chat box? Any responses from the audience? When was the first time when you started using AI? So we got one response since ChatGPT was introduced. That's the case with majority of the people around us. However, AI was with us for a very, very long time. Um, and I'm saying very, very long time because, as far as I remember, a few people in my known circle actually started using predictive AI back in 2014, 2015. So it's been a long time for people who feel that ChatGPT is the one who started AI wave. They're right up to a certain extent because ChatGPT actually made it very popular among the general audience. However, people started building predictive models since, like, I'll say early 2000s. I know some people who have been using it since 2014, 2015, but there were examples which we used to read in early 2000s as well. Um, so it's not a new concept. However, the initial wave of AI was predictive, where we were just learning about feeding the existing data, and the AI will then predict the outcome of the future sports matches, or maybe say your share market, or Salesforce started using it for lead scoring and a bunch of other things. Like, those were mostly predictable. So you used to train the AI models, and then based on that data, you used to get some predictive outcomes. Then the wave two started with agents like ChatGPT, where you used to feed in information to the AI agent, and then you used to get generative responses. However, for the second wave, still, we needed human input every step of the way. But in the current mode, we're in the third wave of AI. Here, actually, the thing is, majority of the things are run by autonomous AIs. So we're in an era where AI agents can literally, reason, think like a human, and respond to those queries entirely autonomously without any human intervention. They can respond to each and every query, they can take actions, they can reason, and based on that reasoning, they can take actions. Now, this is where we are, and this is where we are going to, talk about, talk a bit more about today's agenda, which was Agent Force, and how these agents are actually going to drive the future. The future of, as we talk about Wave 4 and Wave 5, is going to be really everything driven by robotics, and then AI has, like we see in the movies, AI has a brain of its own, like not the one we have as of now. We AI still feels like they have a brain even in the third wave. But imagine wave 5, like they're doing literally everything. They can even have emotions like humans. That's what scientists are predicting the wave 5 will look like. But today we're just going to talk about the wave 3, which is the current wave of agents or AI agents. Well, you know, building any enterprise AI from scratch is a very complex task. It requires you to harmonize data across various enterprise systems. It requires you to building prompt workflows and templates. It requires you to enhance those templates with a company-specific data, and then implement security measures, and selecting different models, even building your own models, and it requires a lot of like continuous monitoring. Um, every AI, even the Agentforce, starts with a prompt. So what we need to do is we need to create the prompt in a way that it actually understands what action it's supposed to do. So with Agentforce, actually, you do not need to do ages of coding, and you do not need to worry about security measures or like building complex workflows. Everything is seamlessly available for you to build your agents, which you can actually create within a few hours. Even the complex of complex agents can be built within a couple of days. So that's why we're going to talk more about this really cool thing, which kind of reduces our building hours into almost like 1% of the entire project. We would have, um, you know, it would have taken like ages ago for us to build everything from scratch. So these AI agents are really cool, and we're going to talk more about these. Now, there are basically two types of AI agents. One is embedded AI, and then the second one is AI agents. Embedded AI used to be the Copilot one or the prompt builder one, where we used to feed in some data, and then we used to get response based on that. Whereas in AI agents, you can actually have a conversation. So all the data, everything is accessible to these agents through your CRM, through Data Cloud, through a bunch of other sources. And based on the prompts or the actions you have added, they can actually have a multi-turn conversation. They can, offer answers, they can take actions and do a lot more than just the embedded AI. If you look at the slide, let's talk a bit more about embedded AI versus AI agents. So as we move forward, AI adoption is going to be very pivotal for companies to actually stay competitive, because till now, embedded AI was playing a big role. Embedded AI was able to directly help you with data analysis, customer insights, automated processes, transforming day-to-day operations without actually disrupting the workflows. That's what embedded AI was doing for us. It was actually giving us a response we needed once we actually entered a prompt in it. Now, on the other hand, the current version, the AI agents, they are actually taking the center stage. And the reason because that is they're more advanced. They're essentially like virtual assistants for salespeople, for customer support team, for marketeers, and so on and so forth. These agents can go beyond just the simple automations of like sending emails or like responding to your queries, but they can actively support you through these tasks, providing actionable insights, which essentially helps you in saving significant amount of time when you want to improve your overall productivity. Especially the early adopters of AI agents are going to see substantial competitive advantage, because when you're talking to these agents, you can actually see the difference there. Also, a major difference is with embedded AI. You used to have you could have used model builder and prompt builder to actually create these embedded AIs. With AI agents, you have this agent builder, which is on top of what you've built through Model Builder and Prompt Builder. So it essentially helps you in building these custom agents. There are some turnkey agents available as well within Salesforce, but you can also build like a lot of custom agents. And these could be literally anything. Like you might create an agent to actually maybe reschedule bookings for your customers. You can create agents with the aim of supporting your sales team, where they can help them with next best actions. They can help them keeping the conversations alive with your customers, and so on and so forth. So it's not like you can only do one thing or the other, but you can do so much more through these agents. Now, as you look at the slide, embedded AI is an on ramp to Agentforce. What this means? Well, embedded AI, or the Copilot, which we initially had, essentially is giving the boost Agentforce needed. So that's the base, the one which we initially were discussing. Now there's a thing on top of it which has a reasoning engine, which essentially acts like a brain for these agents. And you can actually do a lot more than just those embedded tasks. So with these Agentforce agents, you can actually have 100 plus embedded AI actions in the existing flow of work. You can actually get started quickly because there are a lot of pre-built actions available. It's very easy for an Agentforce agent to hand it off to human as well during the conversation. So when you build these Agentforce agents and they're not able to understand what's going on, they can even pass that conversation off to a human. If you guys haven't already, my recommendation is to go to Salesforce Help website. Do you guys remember how Salesforce Help experience used to look like? Can somebody share their Salesforce Help experience up until now? Anybody in the comments? What used to happen when you used to go to the Salesforce Help page for any queries you had for Salesforce? Anybody in the comments? So, okay, this is not the response I was looking for. For when I used to go to Salesforce Help website, my basic experience was to go there, log in through my Salesforce account, and try to fill up that weird form, which was asking me a bunch of details, and that's it. Like that was the only thing I could have done, or maybe read a few knowledge articles based on the recommendations. But I had to wait for like at least a couple of days to actually get a response from a human from Salesforce. Now, if you go to the Salesforce Help website, you actually have access to Agent Astro. And Agent Astro actually helps you in creating support cases and actually letting you connect with a human directly. So you don't necessarily have to wait for somebody else to reach out to you over emails and waiting for years. I actually felt like years because when you're in a kerfuffle, you need instant support. And if somebody's asking you to hold on for maybe 2, 3 days, I don't know if I can do that. It doesn't make sense to me to actually wait for a couple of days when I need the help right now. Now, with these new agents, actually, I can do that. So I can just connect to Agent Astro. I can talk about what my problem is, and Agent Astro can help me create a case directly. So rather than waiting for somebody to reach out to me in a few days' time, now I can get my issue solved then and there. Astro can actually suggest me a few things immediately. If that doesn't work out, I can request Astro to connect me with a human. They can connect me with a human, or I can ask them to create a support case if that doesn't solve my problem either. So I have all the options and it's pretty quick and easy to use that. Next time you go to support website, please look into it. Now, we talked about copilots and agents. The embedded AI was copilot, and now we have AI agents. A lot of the people, they come to me asking questions about what is the main difference between copilots and agents, because from the outside it feels like that both of these things are pretty much the same, except the fact that Salesforce has renamed copilot to um, Agentforce. How many of you think that Salesforce has just renamed Copilot to Agentforce? Can you please post that in the comments? Okay, so we are going to talk. Ashay, you mentioned it's. I think it's the same. It's actually not the same. That's what we're going to talk about in this slide. Um, so Copilot actually is more of something where we needed human in the loop. Copilot actually had a lot of limitations, and that's why they were not like fully autonomous agents. They still needed somebody to supervision and assist them through these tasks. However, with AI agents, it's essentially an autonomous agent, so you don't need humans anymore to overlook these conversations or to help AI navigate through these tasks. AI agents also have advanced reasoning. So we'll talk about Atlas Reasoning Engine in the future slides. What this means basically is that now AI agents actually have the opportunity to not only follow the command based on some set of instructions, but they can reason within um, a particular setup. So, for example, I'm not sure how many of you have seen that video. I'm going to actually play that video later. So, if you have seen that video, there are a bunch of videos available where they talk about, how AI is reasoning, where a customer asks them to schedule the assembly before the delivery, and there is a command which I've added already that do not schedule the delivery before. Sorry, do not schedule the assembly before the delivery date. And so now AI agents can actually understand all that. You are kind of right, Abhishek, that Agentforce is like the Copilot 2.0. It's way superior than Copilot, definitely, mainly because of the reasoning engine which they have added. All right, moving on to the next one. So the sales AI actually is really interesting. When you get started with Agentforce Sales AI, you get a lot of interesting features. It helps you streamline sales by automating a lot of your routine tasks and providing actionable insights to your sales team. A lot of the capabilities include sending sales emails, automating call summaries, which kind of like frees up time for your sales rep and helps you focus on building relationships and closing deals. Some of the really interesting features are, as you can read on your screen, sales assistant. It's like a really interesting feature where AI can do prospect research for you, so they can um, share details on what your prospects are doing, what's happening in their organization based on the data available on internet. And then they can summarize records for you, they can draft emails, they can even send those emails like if you allow them to, and then they can plan your day, they can update your CRM. So it's essentially like having a personal sales assistant, but for free, I'll say. Not for free though, because it's pay per usage. The pricing is a really interesting conversation, which we're not going to go into today. But it essentially acts like a sales assistant. Then the next interesting feature is call support, where you can get call summaries, you can get call transcripts, you can ask them certain questions. a really cool feature is coaching the sellers. So this is like a very important part in every sales organization. Salespeople are very competitive people on this planet, and they don't like sharing their ideas with anybody else, and this actually creates a challenge within the team, because if I'm not sharing something with my team, either I'll not be able to learn from their experience or they'll not be learn from it. So it's kind of like a siloed conversation just with myself. Now what happens with sales AI is you can actually, so your team members can train themselves for particular situations through Einstein. So you can put in the problem you might want to discuss with your customer, and based on that, Einstein is going to have a conversation with you and will give you feedback on how you can actually act in certain situations, or what you should do to actually improve certain conversations, and so on and so forth. So it kind of acts like your personal selling coach, with which you can actually learn, like, okay, this was something you were doing wrong, this is something which was super helpful or not, and so on and so forth. So you can actually learn through these conversations with Einstein. Now, predictive scoring you all have already seen, I guess. Ages ago, Salesforce started predictive scoring, where you were able to predict the forecasting. You were also able to see the opportunity and lead scoring, how likely a lead will convert, so that you can pay more attention on those leads. For example, you're a very busy sales rep and you have 100 deals, but as per your lead scoring, only 10 looks like that they will convert. Now you can focus your time on those 10 rather than nurturing all 100 leads, which practically is not possible, and in that process you might end up losing a really interesting potential customer. So but that feature was available like for a long time, but there are a few details which they've added, which was called account insights and deal insights, which now you have a deeper access to. Then the next one being activity capture, where you can actually capture all the activities you're doing, maybe having a conversation, sending an email, or taking a note or something like that. You can also add call summaries, so keeping a note of all of your call summaries, your contact details, everything. So all of your unstructured data can be captured here as well. Now, the sales insights, so you can also think about email insights. How was the tone of the email? Were they frustrated? You can learn any relationship maps. So maybe you know somebody who might be a friend of your current lead, so they can introduce you to the current lead or your potential customer, which could actually help you grow the relationship pretty quickly. So things like that could be super helpful, which sales insights actually helps you focus on. Then the last one being guided selling. So these are the out of the box use cases which are available when you buy Sales AI. So in the last one, you will be able to see next best opportunity, any product recommendation for your customers, or like propensity to buy, whether they'll be interested in purchasing or not, whether they're just having this conversation, and so on and so forth. So there are a bunch of interesting things which you can actually do with the out of the box sales AI use cases available within your Agentforce. However, if this doesn't fit all the bills you're looking for, you can actually create your own custom agents. Whatever use case you have, you can actually run through with it. You can create custom prompts, you can create custom workflows or actions, and actually build an entire agent based on the use case you have. Now let's move on to, I'm focusing a bit more on the sales and service side, because these are the two areas which majority of the users I'm seeing are using Agentforce. Um, I will, in the meantime, check if we have any additional questions. Okay, where exactly was a human in the loop? Can you please explain with an example? So in Copilot, actually, there were a lot of limitations, as I mentioned. Humans were in the loop because you were actually creating those prompts or things for your internal companies mostly. When you were actually creating service agents, you were not essentially able to reason. So, for example, you cannot, you initially with Copilot, it was not possible for us to ask them to reschedule a particular thing. We can maybe check order status, but that's limitations of that. For rescheduling, they'll probably redirect you to a human that, okay, a human can help you here. These are kind of the examples which I can think about. Well, with the current setup, for example, if you're going to a resort and you've booked a certain activity, but you think that, okay, this might not be possible because I've actually booked two things pretty close. I want to reschedule one item. With a previous Copilot, you were not able to do that. You only would have done that through a human. But with the current one, you can actually reschedule it just with the help of the agents. And also, not just that, you can actually delete a few things as well. I know there's a limitation of delete within the Copilot, sorry, Agentforce agents, but I actually figured out, a friend of mine and I, we brainstormed on this together and we were able to figure out a solution by using some flows to actually delete a previous booking as well. And we created an entire Agentforce agent for an events management company, and where we tried to do a bunch of things where we were even succeeded in deleting a bunch of records, which is a limitation of the direct usage of Agentforce agents. You can actually find workarounds using flows to do that as well. So there are a lot of things. Chandrika, do we need to write any custom logics or will it do it itself? I don't understand your question, Chandrika. Can you please elaborate on what this is? Um, why do you think that we need to write any custom logics, and for what? I think these are the only questions we have so far. I will move on to the Service Cloud use cases for now. So, okay. In Service, actually, the agents helps us with a bunch of things. It assists agents by automatically generating replies, summarizing workflows, and answering search queries, and allowing your teams to focus on high value tasks, reducing manual work. So we'll talk about these. For example, we have self-service bots, which actually helps us deflect certain calls. So all these bots are grounded in our org's data, and they helps us automate a lot of the common problems which humans generally connect service agents with. So I know it doesn't sound idle when we talk about it, because when we call a customer support agent and we hear a bot talking to us, we don't like it. But there are certain things which a bot can help us solve. So, for example, if you want to check your order status, this is a very basic step which bot can directly help you with. And I don't think to understand hear your order status, you need a human to connect with you personally. However, if you want the delivery on a specific date, with the Copilot or other bots, you will not be able to do that. But with Agentforce agent, if you want the delivery on a specific date, you can actually ask them to do that. Now, creating articles. So these agents can actually create knowledge articles for you as well, based on the existing data you have in your system. Sorry, you can actually ask the agents to create certain articles for you. Now, answering questions, this is a basic one. You all know agents can definitely answer questions asked by humans and even take actions based on that. They can recommend certain answers by actually viewing what a human have responded to a previous customer. So they can actually do a lot more using the previous conversations as well. They can do pre-work briefings. So, for example, I was working on certain cases, but I fell ill. Somebody else was taking over my cases. So they can actually, rather than me personally connecting with them and taking them through each and every case. Now these AI agents can help them with summarizing the relevant data for those particular cases, and those agents can get started as soon as possible. Wrapping up cases. So once we transfer our case from one department to another, they can create wrap up summaries so that the next department who's working on it can definitely get up to speed pretty quickly. Then there are service assistants, which actually helps you assist the customer with one on one conversations, which we now are calling copilots. So there are a bunch of use cases for service agents as well. And as you can see on your screen, Formula One actually started using these service agents, and they were able to um, achieve 86% first call resolution rate. So imagine implementing these agents for the very first time, and you're able to resolve 86% cases on the first call itself, which only doesn't happen. So it's a very big number. Then, if you look at Heathrow's example, they actually were able to reduce 20% time on an average for handling these customer support cases. Similarly, HMH had 34% increase in deflection rate, and um, Mountain Iron Mountain actually had 8% reduction in repeat calls. So there are some really good examples in here, which for the companies who have started using these service agents as the pilot program. So now you can actually understand like how well these agents are working and why Salesforce is promoting these. Because these programs were available for certain companies as a pilot program, and hence we can see their results within the slide, even though it's generally available now, but it was not generally available before, I guess, a couple of months. Cool. So you as I mentioned, you have a lot of the out of the box prompt templates, but you can also customize those out of the box as well as create new ones. So we talked about all of the sales and service out of the box prompt agents, and then there are a lot more for financial, healthcare, insurance, education, energy, nonprofit, loyalty, media, comms, and MFG. So these agents are available for different use cases for different industries, for different clouds, and so on and so forth. So you don't need to worry about actually it taking time for you to get started. And now that it's available on a freemium basis, and what I mean by that is almost all of these agents are available for everyone to use for free up to a certain level. Once you cross beyond that limit, you will have to pay. But until that limit, and I don't know what that limit is because Salesforce just mentioned it as freemium, but that limit probably will be specified when you start using those agents. So even you if you want to try, this is a good way to actually start working on it, because then you know that this is at least available for you for freemium. So initial bit will be free. And then if you start using it a bit more, you might have to pay. Obviously, it's a costly affair because I think the prices are $2 per conversation. So every conversation you have will be very expensive after you go beyond the free limit. But it's a good starting point for you all to actually give it a go, try and see what you can actually do. If you're all on the technical side, not on the business side, my recommendation is to just churn a free Trailhead account with these Einstein AI tools and start building these really cool agents. And you can actually showcase your examples on LinkedIn or on Twitter. And Salesforce, for some reason, is actually posting some of the content. So you never know if you might become one of those people whose content gets reposted by Salesforce. So just a cool tip for you all to actually, and a push for you all to explore the Agentforce agents. All right. So Agentforce agents actually is consists of Agentforces consist of three main things. One is agent builder, next one is prompt builder, and then the model builder. So builder is basically where you build your generative AI models. It could be ChatGPT, it could be a specific version of ChatGPT, it could be something you have built on AWS, it could be something you have built on Azure, and you can actually use all of those models in Model Builder. And from those models, you can select when you're creating a prompt or you're building an agent. Then you already are familiar about prompt builder. Here you can customize prompt templates or you can create new prompt templates, and you can activate them and add them as prompts or actions in your agent builder. So when you're building an Agentforce agent, you can actually use those prompts to do certain actions on your behalf. So these are the three main builders within Agentforce. Then the next one is, so let's talk a bit more about Prompt Builder. Prompt Builder helps us create and customize these experiences and actions. So you can actually build, um, you know, things using your data. You can build prompts using your flows. You can directly call your objects within these prompts. So majority of these prompt builder prompts are available. So for example, data input, Einstein search prompt is now generally available. Sensitivity based data masking is generally available as well. Expanded localization support, it is generally available. Data input, data cloud DMO is generally available as well, and prompt performance metrics. So all of these initially, like within Prompt Builder, you were not able to use data cloud DMOs, but now you can actually use data cloud DMO data within Prompt Builder as well. Prompt performance metrics, there are some improvements within the analytics as well in the recent few weeks. So this is a really cool feature as well if you're exploring the analytics side of Prompt Builder. Now, so actually, to Prompt Builder actually allows you to modify your AI's behavior with no code, low code solutions. So when you're using Prompt Builder, you don't have to create custom code or anything like that. You can, you know, add AI within your existing workflows or business logics. So you can create prompt instruction. You can actually, um, add grounded data from your flows or from your Apex calls or from your contacts or any of the objects you want to. And then you can select a model, as you can see on your screen. It could be GPT-4, it could be GPT-4 Turbo, it could be a specially configured GPT for which you built on in Model Builder. And once you are done with this, you can actually test it with the sample data. So it's pretty easy to actually build Prompt Builder prompts. And I'll share some Trailhead links with you all so that you guys can explore later what prompts you can, like how you can build these prompts. Now, if you look at this, it's very easy to create field generation prompts. So you all you have to do is put in one-time instructions to generate a response. You can actually put some guardrails in there that don't use data beyond this point or something like that, whatever you're interested in adding here. Make sure you actually create consistent and repeatable generative experience, because when you're building these templates, testing them out is really important. Otherwise, you'll never know like what kind of responses these GPTs are creating for you. And you should enable single click actions to generate summaries, descriptions, and other field values as well. You get a bunch of options there to actually, do a lot of things. So figure all these things out when you're exploring Trailhead, because these things are actually going to help you not just in passing your AI specialist exam, but also when you're working on building these really cool agents. So for embedded prompts in the workflows, um, let me just go back. Okay. Okay. So what you have to do is you can build the prompts once, and you can reuse them everywhere. What I mean by that is, for example, you have built a prompt for maybe say generating a summary. Now you can use it for an agent for a sales email, or you can use it for an agent for a service side or marketing side, maybe. It totally depends on your use case. So you can build those prompts once and you can use them multiple times across different agents. Not all prompts needs to be used in one agent. It totally depends on your use case, how you want to use it. One prompt can be used in multiple agents. That's a key thing which you need to learn. Now, there are a lot of business tasks which can be done by a prompt builder. For example, if you look at this example, you can generate a summary, you can draft an email, you can create a product recommendation. Now, when you are looking at the prompt builder, you need to think about, okay, is this going to be for the sales email? No. Is this going to be for some service, some work summaries or something like that? And then you need to figure out a prompt template which you're going to use. There are three main types of prompt templates. One is Flex, field generation, and record summary. So now the important thing is the difference between these two. So the Flex template is the one which is extremely customizable. And that's why I really love using these Flex templates. Let's talk a bit more about all of these. So for any use case that isn't covered by other templates, a Flex prompt template actually helps you find a solution for that. That's why the name Flex. Whereas with field generation prompts, as the name suggests, field generation prompts actually helps you um, connect your fields within the Lightning record page. It actually helps you, or it enables your user to populate a field with a summary or a description created by an LLM to facilitate more productive conversation with your customer. So, as the name suggests, this essentially helps you with a field generation. Now, there are multiple types within field generation. It could be record merge, it could be flow merge, and so on and so forth, or apex merge, depending on your requirement. Actually, you can actually use these. Another type is sales emails prompt template. Again, as a name, it's very easy. It's the prompt template which helps you connect with your customers using emails that leverage your customer relationship history and insights. So it actually helps you generate personalized, targeted emails at scale. For example, when you're sending emails to maybe say 10,000 people and you want them to be highly personalized based on your relationship history, these prompts are really great because you can reuse your templates. You can design your sales email prompts for scalable solutions as well, not just like 10, 15, or 100 emails. You can even personalize it for 10,000 emails depending on how you're doing it. Now, another one is the record summary. Sorry, I missed the record summary. Okay, so record summary again is, as the name suggests, record summary is where you can summarize a particular record. It could be in the sales or service or marketing side, wherever you want it to be. It's pretty easy. You can populate these record summaries within your Lightning pages. You can just use these as a conversation. It totally depends on you how you want to do it. Now, the next thing is grounding these prompts, which is a really key thing because if you're not grounding these prompts, you don't know where the data is coming from. So you can, for these prompts, you can actually use your CRM data, or you can use your data from Data Cloud, where you might have data coming in from multiple data sources. You can ground these with Flow Builder or MuleSoft or Apex. There are a bunch of things which you can do. Um, Salesforce prompts are available for sales, service, marketing, commerce, and industry clouds. They can be connected through APIs for these clouds, and then you can use multiple different types of actions. So for LWC, flows, Apex fields, there are a bunch of different invocable actions available for this. You can use these prompts once created in your Agentforce agents as well. And all of this, again, is within your Einstein trust layer. So all the data you're using here remains within your trust layer. Now, we're going to talk about a bunch of really, really cool things in the future slides. I'm going to skip through this model builder slide because actually I'll just quickly go through it. So model builder actually helps us either use the existing models or customize the existing model a bit. We can even, as I mentioned, bring our own fine-tuned LLM. Um, these model builders actually helps us in grounding our data. This highlights that agents will identify the necessary context and go out and grab it to address the request. This means you don't have to do a bunch of manual configuration to provide your agents with the necessary information. It goes out and gets it on demand. So you don't have to put it all together all at once. Now, it's very easy to configure new models. It reduces the need for custom solutions to handle every scenario. And in cases where you need multiple prompt templates, passing in every piece of data, you can instead make simple calls to an agent, which will figure out what data it needs and what action it needs to take to resolve the request. So it's pretty easy to actually build all of these. Now, let's dig a bit deep on the Agentforce agent side. When you're building or thinking about an agent, there are 5 things which are really, really important. Um, these are like the most important attributes of an agent. First thing being role. What job should they do, or what job they're going to do? Because when you're designing your business use case for agents, you need to understand what exactly is your expectation from these agents or for this particular agent. Once you understand their role, you need to figure out what data they're going to use, what knowledge can they access, which objects specifically, which fields. If the data is coming from third party and you need it to respond to some queries, you need to understand like, okay, this is what they need, how I can put them in touch with this data. Once the data and role is sorted, you need to figure out the actions. Now, what capabilities I want my agent to have? Because these agents will be interacting with humans after all. And to be able to have a conversation I want them to have, I want to give them as much context as possible. So, for example, if I'm creating a service agent specifically for helping these humans. So if you look at, I'm not sure how many of you have done the Coral Cloud agent builder, building my first agent. So if you look at that, that's something which they are doing to create a service agent grounded in their CRM data with the capabilities, with actions where they can reschedule a few events, they can book new events, um, they can actually learn a bit more about the customer and their interest, and based on those interests they can recommend a few events as well. So those are the actions which you need to think about. It could be, as I mentioned, delete is not an option. You need to think about if it will be required for your use case. If it is, how you can do that. There are certain things which you need to figure out what actions a human can ask them to perform. So based on that, you'll be creating your actions and your prompt and all those things. Now, the next key thing, guardrails. So you need to set up some guardrails as well, as we discussed the example where we mentioned that the assembly of the product should not be before the delivery date. Now, this is a guardrail. Some guardrails are automatically added into these agents so that prompt injection attacks and all those can be reduced. If somebody asks them for offensive information, like tell me how to build a bomb, that's something the agent is not going to answer because those are the kind of guardrails which have been already added by um, the Salesforce team. However, you can add your own guardrails as well that, okay, do not share this information or any event information without verifying the customer. Once you add that and you have added a workflow to verify the customer as well, maybe you might want to verify them using an OTP, or you might want to verify them using maybe their birth date. Depending on your use case, you might want to do that. Because if somebody else makes a change in their in somebody else's booking, it might become an issue. So you might want to add some guardrails there as well and think about what those could be. Humans are nasty people, they can do anything. Not that we don't have good people here as well, but there are so many people who actually tries to harm other people, so we have to be very careful with these guardrails. Now, lastly, channel. Are you building these agents for your internal team? Are you building these agents for your website, for your mobile website? I don't know. Wherever you want to embed them, you have to think about the channel, like where they will, you know, reside. Once all these five things are sorted, you can actually think about the next steps. So, any questions until this point? I can't see any question in the chat section. If there are no questions,
There is no questions, Pusha. You can continue.
okay, perfect, perfect. I can move forward with the next slide. So, we talked a lot about these agents and how chatbot used to be the initial standard, and then Copilot came in, and now we're just talking about this buzzword called Agentforce. Agentforce, as you can see on your screen, is really intelligent. It can reason, it can take action, it can scale, it knows your business in and out. But how are these agents different than any other technology you have seen over the past couple of years? Agents are all about action. In contrast to now outdated copilots and chatbots that rely on human requests and struggle with complex or multi step tasks, Agentforce offers a new level of sophistication by operating autonomously, retrieving the right data on demand, building action plans for any task, and executing these plans without requiring human intervention. It's essentially like a self driving car. Agentforce uses real time data to adapt to your changing conditions and operates independently within an organization's customized guardrails, making sure that every customer interaction is informed, relevant, and valuable. And when desired, Agentforce seamlessly hands off all of these conversation or all this data to human employees with a summary of the interaction and an overview of the customer's detail with all the recommendations with what to do next. Which means when human takes over, majority of their problem is already sorted for them by Agentforce. Now, building an agent for any job in Builder is pretty easy. As we discussed, we need prompts, we need flows, we can use MuleSoft, Apex, JavaScript to do this. You have access to Trailhead, all of you. You can quickly use that. But we're going to talk about the fundamentals of building blocks of Agentforce. And this is like really key information, which you might not be able to see in most of the places. So let's talk about three key fundamentals of building any agent. First one being topics. Topics are these really cool features which actually allows admins or anyone who's building the agent to group actions into functional jobs to be done. This actually helps limit Copilot or agents to only use relevant actions for the topic at hand. For example, order management, repair inquiries, general FAQs. So, all of these could be specific topics. Embedding each of these topics with a set of natural language instructions. So here we need instructions. For example, we have order management as a topic. Now for order management, we have added a certain instructions. Now agent chooses how, which action to run or clarify question or ask clarify question based on these instructions. So, for example, for order management, we have added an instruction called always offer to look up order status using either order number or email. Um, if for written, always look up return status before getting a return label. Same as first step before processing a return, educate the customer on process using knowledge articles. So we have all of these instructions, maybe more for order management. Depending on the queries we're expecting, we generally draft these instructions in human language, natural language which we're using for interacting with each other, not the computer language of ones and zeros or any other coding language. Um, Also, topics helps us to constrain what Copilot would attempt to reply to. It could also ensure that external facing agents does not address off-topic subjects. So off-topic subjects could be, for example, when you're talking about order management, you might want to figure out that okay, repair question will not be answered by order management because all the actions associated with order management are also just for that particular topic. So you don't want to cover too many things in one go. So you might separate topics based on that. Agentforce will derive for the conversation. Lastly, each topic has a specific subset of actions that the agent can choose from. So as you can see on your screen, there are multiple topics available here. For each topic, there are a bunch of instructions, and for each set of topic instructions, there are certain actions available as well. So maybe for lookup order status, there is a particular action which we might be able to create directly using flows, or we can create using prompt builder and so on and so forth. Depending on the complexity of these actions, we can create those. Sometimes we can just, for example, if I want agents to pull up my customer record, I can just say pull up customer record using customer contact.id or contact ID under underscore C, something like that. So I can embed those things here directly as well. If not, I can create separate actions depending on the complexity. Now, how it all works, what the brain is, the brain we talked about, the brain which Agentforce agents are using. Well, if you look at the slide carefully, you can see that Agentforce agents can reason and take action anywhere because of this Atlas reasoning engine. So every time you generate a prompt, that actually goes through this reasoning engine. It retrieves the data from Data Cloud or your CRM, and then based on that, takes the action and generate a response. This thing, which was in the circle, is a really, really cool feature, which is going to actually change the actions as we move forward for our agents, because this reasoning engine holds so much power, which we were lacking with our original copilots. Now, how agents work. Well, agents work in a really interesting way. It all starts with a conversation between your users and Einstein. And business users can engage their AI assistant in natural language, like asking for help, creating an email, for a particular customer, maybe to promote the new sustainability program and so on and so forth. Um, Now, Einstein gets the work done by sending the user's request to the LLM to identify the right topic or job to be done. Einstein Co. Sorry, Agentforce agent then follows the topic instructions to generate a plan of actions within the topic. These are composed of out of the box actions that you enabled or custom actions that you created. Now, if you look at your screen, when the customer asked, "What is the status of my order?" we were able to follow through the instructions. And based on these instructions, the next actions will be taken, how the execution will work. So within Agentforce agents, you can review Einstein's plan of action, edit them as you see fit. You can also, so that you only, like most relevant and accurate actions are executed according to your requirements. Next, Einstein's call service such as Apex Code, flows, prompts, and more, and grounds responses with trusted business data from Data Cloud. It actually provides the necessary context for the highest quality outputs. So you have all of your data, all of these actions available at your fingertips to actually generate the best response which your customer desire. So, for example, you saw the first thing that customer asked a question, then there were a set of instructions within order management, the execution happened, and then she got the outcome. Now, when Einstein generates a response complete within the data, they need data to answer the prompt. All that data is taken from all of these different data sources. It also shares any additional insight or summary of the actions taken, as you can see, and all the actions are the foundation of your agents. So more like the smarter your actions will be, the better your outcome will be for your agents. Now let's look at the agent for a service agent. um, Again, these autonomous agents, these service agents, they work completely on their own to engage customers, to complete customer facing support tasks. um, it essentially responds to your customers across channel. It could be WhatsApp, SMS, iMessages, etc. They can help you answer these questions 24/7 in conversational language that is tailored to your brand's voice, tone, and guidelines. Because when you're creating these agents, you can actually set these brand voice, tone, guidelines, everything within your models. All of these agents, they are grounded on your trusted data. It could be your knowledge base, your CRM data, or any other data sources within Data Cloud. And these are all protected by Einstein Trust Layer as well. So you can rest assured that it will quickly deliver the right answer to your customers. You can also set up agent for service agents in minutes using the pre-built service specific templates and existing Salesforce objects like flows or um, other bunch of things actually. You can even create custom actions that are specific to your business needs using low code, no code approach. In addition to that, you can even define parameters for your agents to follow and seamlessly escalate these to a human when an inquiry is out of scope. So you can set these agents in a way that if something is beyond their limit, they can pass it on to an actual human. Well, that's the power of having your autonomous agent on Salesforce platform with your AI plus data plus CRM plus trust on one platform. With this, you're able to increase productivity, reduce cost, and improve the customer experience. Let's talk about Agentforce for sales before we just talk about the architecture, and then I'll share some interesting resources with you. We're almost at the end of our session, so I'm going to just talk briefly about these Agentforce for sales because I've already talked everything in depth. So these Agentforce SDRs can actually act like an independent SDR. They can nurture these relationship with your potential customers. So all the leads you have, you can initiate those relationship with your Agentforce SDR. Then, as I mentioned, Agentforce sales coaches. These coaches are really helpful when you're trying to upskill your team. Now, lastly, this is the architecture. So everything has Data Cloud in center nowadays. With Data Cloud in center, Agentforce actually helps maximizing the customer engagement across all touch points because you have access to all the data from various different sources and you can take actions based on that. Now, with AI-based autonomous agents and humans collaborating together to provide sales, service, and marketing, commerce, and other omni-channel engagement to customers in the most unified, richest, and most contextual way, an agent is set up with its role and needed scope. Um, and scope or knowledge, canvas of knowledge, data, topics, and instructions for actions, as well as guardrails. An interaction with a customer can go in any way. Depending on that, an agent uses AI to respond autonomously. It's still governed by the scope as you have defined by your business or so to remove actually hallucination because a lot of time agents hallucinate if we're not actually defining the scope or we're not actually creating specific set of instructions for these topics. So there's a seamless handoff between agent to humans or humans to agent if needed. Now that's all from my end. I will share a bunch of things for you all to go through. Um, I will share these slides with you, the next ones, for you to go through these trailhead exercises. And if you want, maybe John can pass these on to you. So um, I want to wrap up with some key takeaways. This is just the start of your journey when you're building your first Agentforce agent. There are plenty of chances for you to dive in deeper and get your hands on. So go through the trailhead exercises. Maybe check out the free data cloud and Tableau starter. Learn more about Agentforce, Prompt Builder. Um, you can build your first agent with a hands-on exercise. You can also build your prompts. You can build sales agents and whatnot. You can even connect with the community. Um, so make sure you join in the community. You can work on the hands-on exercises and you share the use cases or the agents you're building on LinkedIn as well so that your skill set can be shared with the world. People should know that you have built this agent and you know what you're talking about. So you don't necessarily just have to create the agent using the create your first agent exercise. You can use that as the starting point and start building from there. That's it from me. If you have any questions, we can go through those or we can wrap up the session. Okay, so I can see some questions. So we have one agent to replace Copilot, another for a different action, or how is it? We don't have anything to replace Copilot. Actually, we have agents. If I have used the term Copilot somewhere, please forgive me, because there were so many similarities initially. I myself was like, when I was looking through these, I got confused as well. We don't use a like we can replace all of Copilots with agents actually, but all the actions we're now creating are for agents only because we're not using Copilot anymore. So the question you're asking, I could ask questions to Copilot related to any record, be it for sales or Service Cloud or any other, make it do simple task and action. It was one Copilot to do it all. So does an agent work like that, or do we need different agent for different scenarios? Well, depending on how you're creating these agents, most of the time when you're creating agents for internal customers, or sorry, internal stakeholders, you generally create it for different scenarios, I'll say. If you're just creating one agent to do all of these things, I would prefer to actually add separate actions there, so that for each topic you have separate set of instructions, separate set of actions associated to it, and you can actually ask one agent to do all of these tasks. You don't necessarily have to create multiple action agents. However, if I'm creating an agent for internal stakeholders, I can do that. However, if I'm creating the agents for maybe servicing my customers on the website, I would not do that, because then the agent have access to my sales data as well, which I don't want to share with the entire customer list I have. I might want to share like limited information with them. So, depending on the amount of information I want to share with these particular agents, I will be selecting separate agents, and I'll probably give one of them the name service agent, and then that will handle the service queries. And then I'll probably name somebody else a sales SDR agent or something like that, depending on the things I want them to perform. Because if I put all of this data for just one agent, it's way too much. Anyone can access that data, and I don't feel comfortable doing that myself. Cool. Any other questions? If not, you can, if you have any more questions, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can email me at pushapilania@trailblazerscl.com. That said, I think I'm done for the day. I hope you guys were able to understand the nuances of Agentforce, because doing just the hands-on workshop, you'll not be able to understand what goes behind building these agents. And my aim with this was to make you understand like what you need to actually build the agent.
Thank you, Pisha. Thank you for the informative session. And thank you for giving time for the today's session. The session
Thank
is
you so much for the invitation, and thank you so much all for joining in and patiently listening to what I was saying. Thank you so much.
and thank you everyone. Thanks for joining.